Nicola. I'm from Grief Ltd.
So Grief Ltd here, what people might be able to see outside the venue here is, well, they might not know what it is, but it looks a bit like a kind of an industrial phone box thing. I thought that's a small TARDIS, but it'd be bigger on the inside. What actually is it that's out there and people may be walking past it not quite sure what it is?
It's an installation piece called Listening Lights, but it's based on a concept of wind phones. So would you like me to explain?
That's my next question, there you go.
So wind phone is a Japanese concept where a gentleman lost his family and he was grieving, so he built a phone box in his garden with a telephone that he could pick up and talk to his family whenever he wanted as part of the grieving process. And it's become really a world phenomenon, so there's many different wind phones across the world, and the one outside was designed for a light festival. So the idea is that you go into the booth, there's a phone in there, an proper old telephone, and you pick it up, and when you speak, the vibrations of your voice are translated into a light show that is projected on the outside. And I commissioned an amazing sound artist who did a soundscape, which is an accumulation of sounds from every aspect of life, from insects on leaves to pylons to people walking, talking, wind, water. Yeah, so that protects the words that are spoken. So yeah, so that's it.
So, talking about grief,
yes,
is something that clearly we don't talk enough about, generally as human beings, I suppose, but obviously we're here at Climb26 and it's about business and how it literally happens to all of us.
Yeah, it's guaranteed. If there was a customer base, it would be the biggest in the world, wouldn't it?
Yes, a fair point. And it's about how businesses are, is it the word equipped? Is it ready to
I think what we're hoping to do is create a more grief literate society, is the tagline that we have. But really it's to support businesses to recognise grief as something separate from a mental health issue. So grief is a life issue. You know, people are going to experience grief, people are living with grief all the time. But how we deal with it can have a profound effect on how long we suffer from it. And how supported we feel and how able we are to discuss that means that we can create a connection and a closeness with each other that allows us to continue working, continue showing up, continue to do our best, and continue to allow the businesses that we work in to grow and benefit from us. So yeah, I suppose that's what Grief Ltd is supporting businesses to do that.
Because is it about recognising the signs, or it's so personal that it would seem that everyone has their own individual way of grieving?
I think there isn't a solution, but what we do know is that people who talk about death, dying and grieving recover quicker from the impacts of it. So it's more about equipping businesses and people who work in organisations to be able to have those conversations, to do like a pressure cooker slow release on it, being able to ask the questions and be ready for the answers, or feel like they're saying the right thing, or be confident to say nothing and just be present. But you know, legal legislation can feel quite painful if you have to deliver that to somebody who's just lost their child or their mother or somebody close. And how do they navigate those conversations that are still very business orientated, but in a way that can still support that person to want to come back after their 2 weeks leave? You know, how do they do that? And at the moment, the only route is to support it through mental health. And it's like I said, it's not a mental health problem. It is a life problem, and it can be dealt with in a specific way.
It's difficult to even. It's not one or the other, but you're certainly going to be more likely to have someone die in your company than you are someone have a mental health crisis, or whatever way they want to deal with it. They're dealing with mental health. Someone passing away is, as I say, it happens to everyone, and the odds are in a large company or in a small company.
Well, absolutely, and I think, you know, I've run death cafes with my business partner Karina for a long time, and in all honesty, we laugh more at the death cafes than we cry. And you know, once the energy is taken out of that taboo subject that you feel you can't say, there's a lot of joy in thinking about being alive.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of joy about acknowledging that you've formed a deeper connection with someone because you talked about something that was of real depth and meaning to them, and maybe got an insight into yourself too along the way. So, yeah.
something as kind of starkly named as a death cafe, I imagine it's not quite as maudlin as it sounds.
No, it's not.
I hope there'd be a good cup of coffee and a piece of cake to start with.
Definitely.
Focus on the cafe. No.
Good biscuits.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did have somebody who, like I said to you earlier, who regularly think it's a deaf cafe, so they sign, and then somebody said, no, it's a
It's a sign. It's a different sign altogether.
Maybe not as appealing as we'd like to sort of present ourselves.
So to be here at Climb, I suppose it is about a business which is, it's more than just an idea, it's happening.
Yes.
And it clearly it has an effect on every business that's here. And so are you looking for funding, a way to grow, to get that out there?
Obviously money is great, so money would be great, but we're not here for that. I mean, to be honest, I'm incredibly privileged that Climb UK asked us to come here, and I was surprised and incredibly, like I say, delighted that Gordon and Vicky spoke to us and said that they wanted us here because they could see that it would be something really valuable to business. But we really are looking for insights from businesses as to what would be useful to them. We have an idea of what we could deliver. We think that something like CPD, similar to the mental health first aid, would be something of benefit, but we feel like it's a soft touch, but it could work. We feel like subscription services where people could access, like you would a HR, but specifically around grief, could be of benefit, but it may not be as impactful inside businesses. It may be just a slow release that still doesn't encourage people to talk. Or is there some bespoke services that we could offer, or is it all of it? And we're at a point of researching so that when we really push into the delivery stage, we perhaps have some partners, some businesses that might be interested in running the initial services with us, but also just listening right now. Just listening. What do people need? What do they want? What are they doing? What can we learn right now so that when we deliver something, it has some real meaning?
Because everyone will have a story.
And they do.
Yeah.
As soon as they don't want to talk about it, they do want to talk about it. Yeah.
Well, it's a fabulous initiative, and a local one as well.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us, and good luck with getting it out there.
Thank you very much.
And the Death Cafe, not Death Cafe.
No.
No.